Have you ever stopped to consider why it's important to worship together? What kind of difference can corporate worship make in our lives? Is it the same when we worship on our own? This week, as we continue our This Is Us Lenten Worship Series, we'll turn our focus to the value of worship. In our scripture for this week, the classic passage from Isaiah that provides us with an outline for the way we worship, it's easy to notice that it's kind of a bizarre passage, frankly. It describes a vision that Isaiah has. And visions are like dreams, so they can be strange for sure. Often they are rife with symbolism and imagery. But Isaiah's vision is actually the framework for the order of worship that we use today. First, he experiences the greatness, the vastness of God, the majesty of God. And then he praises God. And then he confesses his shortcomings, his needs, his sins. And after that, there is the experience of grace and forgiveness or pardon. Then comes the challenge, the message of the day and the challenge that is within it, the call, followed by the response to that challenge or call. And finally, the sending forth to live out that response in the world. We may do it in different ways, of course, but this is always the basic structure of our weekly sanctuary worship service. But worship isn't just about structure, order, showing up, sitting in the pew, listening, singing, praying, and then going to lunch. There's also something deep and profound to be had there for each of us if we can open ourselves to it when we worship together. The experience of shared worship contains really a lot of energy. There's something palpable about being together in a sacred space that lifts us up to another level. Remember, when Isaiah has his vision, he is in sacred space. He's in the temple. Worshiping together in a sacred space and sharing the energy of that experience really does matter. All of these things enhance and intensify the experience of worship for every person present. The first Sunday I preached in this sanctuary was one of those experiences for me. I deeply felt the sheer energy of the whole worship experience in our sacred space. What I most remember was processing in with the hymn. It was a hymn of praise, and for a moment it was just nearly overwhelming. The power of the singing, our whole worshiping community gathered there in that beautiful space, the reverberation of sound. It was a moment of complete awe. I had worshiped at First Church before, but that was my first time to lead this congregation on a Sunday morning. And I've experienced this awe and this energy many times since then, of course, especially in some of the special services that we've had, such as Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Christmas Eve, but also in other kind of random weekly services. Sometimes it catches me completely off guard, but if I stop and tune my senses to it, it's something I always know to be there. And it's there for each of us. So when have you experienced this vastness of God? When have you felt the grace of God lifting you, lifting a burden from you? How did that experience of grace and forgiveness feel? How has God challenged you in worship? What was your response to that challenge? I look forward to exploring these questions with you this Sunday in our sanctuary worship.